Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video, I'm covering how to get stupid rich immediately after a wipe. However, you can use these principles throughout the entirety of a wipe cycle to increase the amount of money you make. So I'll be covering a fair bit of things, what you should do initially after the wipe, how to get as rich as possible immediately after the wipe, and then how to maintain that money so you only keep growing it over the period of a patch cycle. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So first up, I'll cover what exactly happens with a wipe. I'll have a separate video going out very soon before or after this one, explaining what happens with a wipe and all the little things you should take note of and what you can do and all that kind of stuff. But initially, just to cover the basics, is when a wipe happens, you get sent back all the way back to day one, week one of a playthrough. So you'll be at level 1 as well as everyone else, and you'll all be fighting over the same stuff. All your hideout will be reset, everything will be reset, and you've got to play the whole game again. The cool thing about this is everyone's still back to that starting point. So there's a lot of high demand items early on as people progress through the playthrough, and you're going to use this to your advantage, and I'm going to teach you that in this guide. So first up, the very first thing you need to focus on doing is getting to level 10 so you have access to the flea market. The first thing you should do after you load into the game, if you've had the game since at least Christmas, go into the website, claim your Christmas bonus. It'll be a heap of extra ammo, some containers and money, and or just like extra items, and that's just going to help you progress. Once you've got that claimed, you need to level up to level 10. Now, level 10 at the moment is at 57,124 XP. However, this could change with the patch. Sometimes they wriggle it up and down, so just we'll go off 57,000. Now, there's two major ways to leveling up early on, and you can either do tasks and then progress through the task path through, or you can go and try and kill stuff. Now, I'm going to leave this up to you, but I'll give you these tips. If you're going to go for the quest path, do nighttime customs to get the first ones done, get your kills done, and then try and get away from customs if you can. Go do the Jaeger task where you got to pick up the item and hand it in, unlock Jaeger. It's the mechanic task for introduction to unlock Jaeger. Get that task done. Do the task outside of customs initially, and then go back to customs at nighttime to get the task done that way. If you want to go down the killing path, there's two options. If you're decent at PvP or if you're decent at PvE. If you're decent at PvP, this is what I suggest. Get into factory. Everyone's going to be going in there to check out the expansion, and they'll want to like kill each other in there. There'll be plenty of opportunity to kill stuff, as well as the scav boss. Now, if you can kill this scav boss, which we don't know how hard it's going to be, he'll give a lot of XP, usually between 2,000 and 4,000 XP. So there's really good XP there. If you want to go for another option, then this would be my recommendation. You go into reserve, you go straight down into the bunker, and then you flick the switch for D2. You kill any of the raiders down in D2, and then you loot everything you can and get out. That's it. If you kill those, say, 2 to 4 raiders underneath bunker, and you get out of that raid, you're probably going to get between 5,000 and 10,000 XP a run. So if there's no raiders down there, you can pop your head up elsewhere, or just turn it into a loot run, get some gear, get out, start looting some task items anyway, and some barter trade items and keys from the filing cabinets, and get out. Just do that over and over again. And to be honest, I might even go down this path. I'm not really sure yet. I kind of like the idea of just chucking myself into factory, taking a little bit of a different approach to the wipe. Those are the two options. You either do your quest, which I highly suggest doing nighttime, or you go daytime, or it doesn't really matter which time, but you get into PvP or PvE mode and try and get your XP that way. Now, one thing that I should note here is survival is really important. So if you're in a raid and you can go for one more kill or get out, get out. So if you've already got a couple of kills under your belt and you may be a little bit hurt, maybe got a little bit of loot, surviving the raid will give you a heap of extra XP, 1.5 times to be exact. And also you won't waste as much time chucking your loadout on and changing loadouts and all that kind of stuff. So you survive the raid, reset, go again. Even though there's that loading time, it will really add up. So an extra few survivals early makes the biggest difference. Now that you're at level 10, or you're well and truly on your way to getting level 10, which really shouldn't take you that long if you use the right principles I've just explained here, this is when you're going to start making money. Now, early on in a wipe, there's different reasons or different things that sell for a lot of money, and you need to keep up to date with what sells for a lot. There are some websites and tools out there that monitor the markets, and I don't know how quickly they update, but you should be able to get a good idea very quickly by just watching the flea market for how much stuff is selling for. Now, the ideal objective is to get to level 13 to unlock therapist level 2, and you can get yourself a scav junk box. As you start getting money or making money, you should be buying scav junk boxes. And this is if you want to make it like, if you want to make 100 million rubles in the first, say, 2 to 4 days, this is how you do it. So you go get therapist unlocked to level 2, and then you're going to want to buy scav junk boxes. Now, the way you buy these scav junk boxes is this. There are 3 ways of looting to make money. So the first one is your barter items. Now, if you go into a raid like Interchange and you literally just run the back of Goshen, Ollie, and Idea, and you pick up every single barter item, no matter what it is, you pick it up, and then you either use the no backpack extract or the car extract at the power station or Emicom, whichever one it is. The raid shouldn't take any more than 7 minutes, and you get out. You literally get out, make sure they're still found in raid, and all the items that you loot, you put into your stash. Now, if they are items that are selling immediately for a large amount of money, so these ones are your bolts, screws, nails, all these kind of items on the first day will already sell for a lot because you need them for the hideout, including like spark plugs. There's a whole list. You'll just have to keep an eye on the flea market. The idea is go look at your own hideout and then keep an eye, a track of what ones are actually needed early on, or you can use EFT Wiki to figure out which ones are needed early on, and those items will sell for a lot. Now, if you've got, say, something like corrugated hoses on day 1, they won't even sell on the flea market on day 1. You might be able to sell one every now and then, and they won't even sell for a lot of money. They'll sell for like 20 or 30,000 rubles. However, on day 2, 3, 4, and 5, they will sell between 100 and 200,000 rubles. So on the day 1, if you go to put something up for sale and it doesn't sell for much, then just put it in your scav junk box, or just waiting in your hideout until you have the money for those scav junk boxes. Then when you see that giant spike in value, then you start putting those barter trade items up for sale. And you just keep doing this run over and over again. I'm not even exaggerating it. If you do it right, the bigger the backpack you can have, you should be able to make, on average, 1 to 2 million a run. And so you can do the math. 50 of these runs at about 5 to 10 minutes a run, you're making yourself, a lot of money, potentially 50 to 100 million rubles. So you'll just be banking in the cash right here. Now, obviously, the back of Interchange is a very highly contested spot when people are going to be farming this. So there's another option you have as well, and that is keys. Now, you have 2 different choices on how you want to tackle keys. A lot of people like the Shoreline path because the whole village has Shoreline has 32 jackets in total, and the way to get keys is through jackets. Jackets and filing cabinets, but jackets are better. Now, with jackets spawning every key in the game, on Shoreline, there's about 25 to 30 just in the village area alone. My issue with Shoreline, however, is the fact that to get from the village area to the extract, if you spawn on that side, you've got to cross the entire map, and if you didn't spawn on that side, you have to run across the entire map to get there. So personally, I don't like the jackets on Shoreline. So what I suggest is the jackets on customs. Now, a lot of people will be like, okay, so I have to go to dorms, one of the most highly contested areas in customs to get jackets. Well, actually, the dorms only has, I think, 27 jackets, but there's 52 in total. So there's 25 other jackets on customs away from the dorms. So you do these runs at nighttime, just purely farming the jackets. And I would also get the hidden stashes at the same time. So you can actually farm, you literally loot every single key, because a simple key like 303 or 203 or 110, 114, these will sell for a lot of money early on. You find a customs key, customs office key, that's 200 to 300,000 rubles right there. Now you put these in your container, and if you get yourself a marked key, you might even be able to get a docs case early on if you go to the marked room yourself. And I think if you get the Christmas bonus, you start with a docs case. So that's a big advantage for farming keys early on. But you literally loot every single key you find in the jacket. At the same time, getting those barter trade items and hidden stashes will make you money. Now, if you hate customs and it's too crazy in there, I'll give you one third and final option, and that's hidden stashes, right? Caches, whatever you want to call them. Now, there's probably 3 maps that I would focus on for farming hidden stashes, with customs being the 4th that you can loot, but you need to supplement it with going for keys and barter trade items as well. But just because of the amount of traffic flow, you kind of just want to go the ones that you know are safe to get to. So the 3 maps you focus on is Shoreline. There are 40 on Shoreline. And I've got guides to all these. If you want to have more information, you can check them out now. Go into an offline raid and find them all yourself so you know where you're going. But there's 40 on Shoreline. There's 30 on Woods. and there's 18 on Interchange. Now, the reason why Interchange is in this list is because all 18 of the hidden stashes are on the outside of the mall. So therefore, you can avoid all the conflict that's inside and just go around the edges, loot the hidden stashes, and get out. And then you don't have to worry about, you know, running into players as much. And the most amount of people you're going to run to is other people doing hidden stashes. You know, you can find out that pretty easily because you'll see them up ahead. If you see it says close, instead of just being a normal open, it means someone's already looted that hidden stash in front of you, and you can start sprinting ahead to try and shoot them in the back as they're running up to the next one. So keep an eye out for that. So like I said, as you get all these items together, you want to put them in your stash. You look for the ones that are at a hot property at that point in time, and you sell them immediately. If the default sell value, say, to therapists is, say, 30K, but they're selling on the flea market for anything over, say, 2x, sell them. Even 1.5x. So a 30K item selling for 45, sell it. Anything at that point, definitely sell it. But if they're selling it like very similar to the actual value of the item, just put them in a hidden, in a scav junk box for now, and then you'll be able to sell it for a lot more later on. Now, one final thing I would highly recommend doing as well is when you go into a raid, put your meds inside your container, and then as you find items of value, put them into your container. You need to start figuring out the value of items per square. A painkiller might be of 4,000 rubles value, but you find an actual CPU, then you can actually sell that CPU for about 10,000 rubles to the trader as just a cost price. Then you're actually making 2.5 worth of a painkiller by taking that painkiller out and putting it into your container. The other thing to think of is try and keep in your mind what items you still need for the hideout to upgrade. So then when you die, you actually don't need it to be found in raid to sell it. You can use it instead for your own hideout. For example, bolts and screws are really good to put into your container early because you need a lot of them to get your hideout upgrades. Now, really, it's a simple of rinse and repeat. You're going to do these methods, whatever you find works the best for you, to make as much money as possible. Now, a trick right here that I'll teach you is another way to at least get a little bit less issues with running into too many people, is you can go to the launcher and actually play around with which service you select, because then that way you can potentially get a quieter server. But early on in the wipe, they're generally very busy, but it's still worth putting multiple servers down in the launcher. Then hopefully you'll get an opportunity to get a quieter server in that rotation as you're trying to do these loot runs. Now, after, say, the first few weeks of a wipe and a lot of these methods are starting to dry up a little bit, you'll still work out which ones work for you, but you should already have a crap load of money by this stage. Generally, if you haven't got 100 million rubles after the first week of a wipe and you were focusing on making money and you probably put, say, let's go with 20 hours into it, you're probably doing something wrong. And it's either you need to mix up your pathing or your method, or just maybe you're overcommitting to the raid too much. Don't mind, like, if you're getting shot at, just run. You don't have to take on every fight. You can even avoid fights. If you hear shots at power station, you're running at the back of Interchange and you're heading towards power station, you're like, all right, there's shots back there. Let's go back to the no backpack extract and just take the most highest value items that I've got right here. You don't need to worry about always going for the full max backpack, max everything. All right, so try and mix up your play styles to figure out which one works the best in making money. But what I want to touch on here is how do you stay rich for the entirety of the wipe? Initially, as you do this stuff and you've got a heap of money, it's a lot easier to make money when you have money in Tarkov. A perfect example is using the hideout to craft items to sell. Early on, if you've got a lot of your quests done and you've got your hideout upgrade and you've got a lot of money behind you, you can upgrade your hideout and unlock some of the workshop barter trades, and you can use those crafts to sell on the flea market. Corrugated hose on the lavatory generally sell for a lot of money, like in the cost to make ratio, and even stuff like mag cases and that can sell for a lot too. Scav junk boxes will sell for a lot on the flea market. And the cool thing about putting all this value through the flea market is it increases your market trader rating, and you'll be able to put more stuff up for sale. So big ticket items like scav junk boxes, even if you're only making, say, 100,000 rubles on a craft that's worth, say, I don't know, maybe 1.7 million, that putting that such a large volume of money through the flea market will boost your rating quite quickly. Just a basis on how the trader rating works on the flea market, it's based off how much money you put through the flea market, not by how many sales you put through the flea market. So take that into account. The more money you put through the flea market, the higher trader rating you get, and the more trades you can put up for sale. So taking into account all these things that I've taught you through this, the main things I really want you to take away from it is understand the value of an item per square. So if you know a specific item sells for like say 30,000 rubles per square instead of the 4,000 rubles item you had, even though it might be prettier and look cooler or whatever, you could just throw it and then take the higher value item per square. It's a really good mindset to get into. Stop looking at it as a complete item. So for example, late wipe, a lion might be only worth 90,000 rubles, takes up 6 squares, but you'll have like, I don't know, 3 items in total worth 150,000. So it's worth chucking the line for those 3 items that are worth more in total. It's just a little thing you need to get into your mind. And then also using a secure container to just constantly make sure your highest value items post death are in that container to assist in you holding on to that money that you've already made. The last thing I'll say is I like to supplement my PvP raids with every now and then I'll do a cheeky just loot run. Just mix it up. Go, you know what? I'll take a little basic loadout, maybe an MDR, big backpack, rig. I'll just do a back of Interchange run. You know, I'll do it like every 5 or 10 raids. I honestly think this wipe, I actually want to take a bit of a different approach instead of speed leveling. I got 5 Kappas last wipe. Instead of just speed leveling to getting to the end of it as quickly as possible, I might mix it up. I might start with a bit of factory, do a heap of PvP and that get to level 10. And then after that, I might just do 5 or 10 hours of just loot in the back of Interchange and make myself a heap of money, get a heap of my quest items, get a heap of my barter trade items, and then I'll for the hideout upgrades. And then from there, I'll be able to steamroll through all those levels super fast because I'll have all those items ready to go. So maybe I'll mix it up this one. I'm not really sure, but hopefully you guys have learned something from this. There'll be plenty of links in the description below to either guides and some maps and stuff. Mapgenie.io is a really amazing tool if you want to like know more information about each map or where stuff's located. But I also do put out a lot of guides, and you're going to see a lot of guides for this wipe. I've got 3 editors just raring to go. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. Anyway, I'll finish this one up here, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please take the time to like and write a comment down below. It really does help out with the discoverability, and share it with your friends that are struggling with Tarkov, might need some extra tips or tricks. Another thing is, if you're into long format videos, I started my Pestily TV channel right now. The duo series with Red Ops is going through. That's a complete playthrough of Escape from Tarkov. If you're cooking dinner and you want something on in the background, you might want to chuck that up, learn how I level up nice and quick. And then also, I'll be doing my Raid Season 4 up on that Pestily TV channel. If you haven't checked out Season 1, 2, or 3, it's a full playthrough from start to finish, explaining everything I do. I film it completely off stream, and it's me just talking to you guys on YouTube, explaining my whole thought process, with my editors putting all the information, extra information up on top just for you guys. So go down to the Pestily TV channel, chuck a sub over there, and then wait out for the next raid season that comes out over there. But the duo series is a really great tool as well, because you'll see how quickly we can level working together as a team to make to get as much items looted as possible. Anyway, enough chin wagging from me. I'll be live on Twitch when this is going live, I'm sure of it. So go down the link below, give me a follow over there. And lastly, guys, I'll see you next time.